Everyone knows Minecraft, and I bet most people know how to make a flat world, but chances are one of those settings is almost always the case in those worlds. It's always in creative mode, rather planning builds, testing, redstone, yada yada. But in survival mode, it's a completely different experience to normal Minecraft, where toggling one button or misplacing one block can turn even the simplest task into something so much harder if it wasn't already. Say, for example, you want wood. The most basic material in the game aside from dirt. If structures are on, find a village and you're set. But if they're off or the preset you're using doesn't allow them to generate, and unless you have a bonus chest on like a noob, the only way to get wood is to kill these guys until they drop their milk buckets while they're drinking it, which usually happens after mob shows up and mob goes away. You need at least 3 of those until you have 5 emeralds. Not to mention that if you did turn off structures, the only way to get lava is via glitches, cheats, or adding it to your preset. Speaking of which, there are 782 blocks in Bedrock Edition, and there's 820 in Java Edition, meaning that with just the one layer of Bedrock and 3 other interchangeable layers, typical of the preset, there are 476,379,541 combinations in Bedrock, and a whopping 549,353,259 in Java. And as I said earlier, likely everyone has used it in creative at least once for testing redstone, planning builds, or just goofing around. Obligatory copyright strike prevention but funny. And even then, they likely don't use it to its fullest potential. The aforementioned preset allows you to test and design things you couldn't in a normal flat world without insane amounts of prep, such as an underwater build or underground redstone. The possibilities are quite literally endless. The build height up and down is a total of 384 in Bedrock Edition, meaning if you use my previous formula, the result has about 1,111 digits. Yes, you heard that right. There are more possible combinations in Bedrock Edition than there are atoms in the observable universe, much less Java. But if there's one fault it has, a lot of mobs are flat out impossible to get to spawn without glitches or cheats, but that doubles back to making things take a lot more effort and time, because you can get almost everything that in the game that's obtainable, aside from a few things that are biome or structure specific, since most of them don't spawn in a super flat world, aside from villages, mine shafts, trial chambers, and strongholds, all of which are often crucial for getting things you can't otherwise, and for making it impossible to get specific things, including the wood I mentioned earlier. And one of the most important things in Minecraft is only accessible to structures or commands as far as I know, aside from, of course I'm referring to lava as I mentioned earlier, but yeah, it's very essential, because it's required for stone and the nether portal, allowing access to the entirety of the nether, which generates normally. This has been my video essay on why Minecraft superflat survival, heck, superflat in general, is more complex than people give it credit for. Yes, I know that only took 5 minutes. Let's see if the short attention span manages.